Hey guys, welcome back to Ask Auntie Nella. This is After Dark, and we know what After Dark is. Bring your questions, bring your answers. Because it's a new year, I want to stick a little bit with the theme of, creating New Year resolutions for, your marriage and your relationship. And so what this one is, I know that this have come up a little bit, and we'll wait for people to come on as well. As you come on, please say hi. We'll wait to see what what you guys are thinking. One of the things I've heard a lot in 2017 was, I'm a little shy, I don't know what to do. And so with that being said, I just want to make sure that we think about how we can, what we can do to step outside of who we are. Fear is going to always be in a situation when you're charting waters in an unknown, when you're, in an unknown chapter of your life, or charting the waters that you've never charted before. And so it's always key to make sure you step outside of who you are, to make sure, again, your marriage is greater, your relationship is greater, but it's also important to make sure your bedroom is great. Your bedroom is on fire. Your bedroom is hot. You want to make sure. Who don't, want to make sure, they're coming home and there's going to be some good, steamy, hot sex that's going to happen? Who wants to make sure of that? Again, we don't want to stick into the same mode of being boring. We don't want to stick in the same mode of being, well, I don't dress up. We don't stick in the same, I don't do that. We don't want to stick in that same mode. So I want you guys to wrap your mind around, what I'm going to do, what I can create to make sure that, my marriage or my relationship, charter some new waters when it comes to sex. Hey Chris, hey Gabby. With that being said, I'm going to wait for some more people to come on live here. Once they come on live, we'll continue. While I'm doing this, while I'm chatting here, what I want you guys to do is say hi when you come on. I want you to also make sure you let people know that Auntie Nella is on. Share it. Invite some friends. Who doesn't have, time to listen to something that's going to make their relationship or their marriage great? I know I do. I wish that when I got married, I wish that I knew some of the things that I know today. And so that's why with me, my passion is always to make sure I'm touching every aspect of a relationship or a marriage. I'm touching every aspect of, the sex part. There's always different components in a relationship or a marriage. So I want to make sure that we're touching all of it. So that's why I always do the relationship piece of it, and I do the after dark. Because a lot of times, a lot of people think the relationship piece is more important when it comes to the sex. They're equal. That's an equal value to that. It means both. Because if you can't connect sexually, then that emotion doesn't allow you to continue to add growth. There's going to be always things that you're going to have to do to create growth in your marriage. And it's never going to be one big thing. It's going to be a multitude of things. And so that being said, it's important to make sure you're allowing yourself to step outside of who you are. You're allowing yourself to make sure you're doing everything you can do to make sure your relationship and your marriage is great. One of the things and I'm going to share a little bit with some of the stuff that I hear often from people. So one of the things, I think last year we talked, I don't think I know for sure, sorry. We talked a lot about, I had a session in regards to After Dark about, stepping outside of, who you are and creating a night where you're going to dress up. You could choose to be a maid. You could choose to be a police officer. You could choose to be a multitude of things. A lot of people are like, well, you know what? That's not who I am. That's not what I do. When I share that, I'm not saying you need to go buck wild and crazy. I'm not saying that. But what you need to do is you need to find something that you're going to do different. Whether it's you coming in there with, your robe on and you have sexually lingerie, whatever you choose to do, make sure you're creating it. That's you creating it. Not something that you're going to take from me and say, well, ask Auntie Nella, say, do this. No, I want you to create it for you, because here's the thing. You need to be comfortable. You need to make sure you're comfortable, because think about it. If you're not comfortable in doing it, think about the presentation. Just think about that presentation you're putting out there. And when you're putting out that presentation that's comfortable, you can't sell it to him or her. You can't. You can't sell it to him or her. Just like men want, us women to, dress up and create this atmosphere. We want the same thing. Take some time to do. I'm not saying you have to get out there and go crazy, but I think it needs to happen both ways. And if you're the person that doesn't like your man to do that, that's fine. Share it with them. But I feel like that's something that will allow you to, a lot of people think when we talk about freaky, oh, you talking about, I need to get buck wild, I need to do all this, I need to do stuff I wouldn't normally do. No. What I'm saying is freaky can be whatever you have never done. Freaky can be whatever you're fearful of doing. That can be freaky to you. And so don't always put freaky in association with, what? Freaky is, a tramp. Freaky is a prostitute. Freaky is a thought. No. You can create your freakiness that's going to cater to your situation. And so if you're a person who don't like to dress up, if you're a person who, don't like to, let's see, if you're a person who just doesn't like to, do different things but do the same old normal stuff, you know what? It's Tuesday night. And we set Tuesday night at 7 p.m. It's our time to, to do our sex session. No, I don't want to have no time of when I'm going to have a sex session. Absolutely not. I want it to be spontaneous. I want it to be out of the box. I want it to be abnormal in a sense. And what I mean by that is not just the norm of I'm at work, so I'm jotting down, on a book. Well, you know what? Monday I'm going to do this. Tuesday is sex, so I can't do that. Wednesday we going to do this. Thursday we're going to do this. And then next Tuesday we going to have sex again. No. Make sure you take time to make sure with 2018 you're focusing on doing things that you normally wouldn't do. If you're a person who, let's say, don't like to get on top, challenge yourself 2018, babe. I'm going to get on top and ride that bull. Challenge yourself for 2018 to do that. It's little things. That's a lot of little things in a relationship and a marriage that people don't do, that they don't realize may be important to their mate or may be important to their spouse. Ask the questions, guys. Ask the question. Ask him, what is it that you would prefer me to do that I haven't done? Ask the question. You will be surprised with the answers you get. You will be totally surprised with the answers you'll get. Hey, Raynell. So make sure that you ask the question, because just like I said, and just like I will continue to say and always say, communication is free. Communication is key. If you don't allow yourself to communicate and find out what you need to do better, what your weakness is when it comes to the bedroom, then you're playing yourself. You're not allowing yourself to understand or tune into you. I could have all the strengths in the world. A strength is something that you're great at. Don't allow your strength to be like, oh, you know what? I'm good at that. I'm going to keep doing that over and over and over again. Nope. Challenge yourself. Push yourself. Open up your horizons. There's a bright sunshine at the end of the rainbow, but you'll never know it if you don't try. You have to try. Some people don't like having it from the back. Choose to say, you know what, 2018, I'm going to let him hit me from the back. Don't mean you have to choose to do something that's you don't like, but try and challenge yourself, because there's things out there that you may choose to do that you may say, I don't like that. That's crazy. You never know if you're going to like a situation unless you try one time in your life. I always say this. If you've tried it one time in your life and you've said, nope, it's not for me, you've tried it. Then you know for sure it's not for you. You can't say it's not for you if you've never tried it. I'm not saying jump off a river. I'm jump off into a river. I'm not saying hang yourself. I'm not saying take some, handcuffs and tie yourself to, handcuff yourself to the bed. Tie your hands behind your back with the rope. I'm not saying none of that. But there's always something in life when it comes to sex that some people are fearful and have never tried. And all I'm going to say is allow your mind to expand itself and try it. It's always good to try. Try one time in your life, and when you try one time in your life, at the end of the day, you could have said, I've tried that. I've done everything I need to do. One of the other things, let me think of another topic that was a really, really big one. Giving head. One of the other topics was giving head. That was a really, really big one. And a lot of people was like, a lot of people are, are fearful when it comes to that. That's taboo around giving head. Why? I don't know. But there is taboo around giving head. There's still some people who haven't tried giving head. There's still some people like, I'm not going to do it. But there's still some people who giving head but won't say they're giving head. You know what I'm saying? So just like you want him to please you by, taking care of you orally, you need to do the same thing. It's not all about you getting what you want. It's the both of you guys getting what you want. So if you're that person out there that's viewing this video and you're afraid to give head, try it once in your life. Try it once in your life. But you need to let your spouse know if it's something that you're afraid to do. Say, you know what? I'm willing to do this, but I just want you to let me move at my own pace. Because if he gets too aggressive or if she gets too aggressive and this is your first time doing it, then that may kill the whole vibe. And then you're back at square one like, I knew I shouldn't have did it. I knew I wasn't going to like it. So make sure you're letting them know. Find out, like I said, find out from him what is it that he wants from you. What is it that's key to him or important to him that you're not doing in the bedroom, that may be a little freaky, that may be a little risque, that you haven't done, but you're willing to try it one time. 2018, let's make 2018 a year of, trying some stuff that I never tried. And, people may say, oh, Auntie Nella, you done tried everything. Nope, I haven't. There's going to be some things that you haven't tried. There's going to be some things that Auntie Nella's going to absolutely say no. You not beating me with a whip. No. That's one thing Auntie Nella will never try. You're not beating, because here's the thing. I don't want you to add some pain on me that's going to hurt me. Now, if the pain is the little pain that it feels good along with the pain, that's a different story. But I ain't letting you whip me. I'm not about to do that. And so I know who I am. I'm in tune to who I am. I know there's some things that I'm not going to try. I'm not going to get all crazy. I'm not going to do all that. What is it? What if I decide, I'm going to dress up as a, cop and I need to arrest you, or he's going to dress up as a cop and he needs to arrest me. Somebody may say, I'm not doing that. Try it. You never know. That's not something that's going to hurt you. That's something that you're going to create a different atmosphere. It makes it exciting. So when sex comes, it's exciting. So it's a foreplay. It's a situation that's going to get you in the mood. I'm not saying he needs to arrest you. He needs to slam you on the floor. He needs to put the handcuffs tied. He needs to gag you. Nah, I'm not saying that. But there's nothing wrong with you being playful. There's nothing wrong with you putting yourself out there and being A-okay with putting yourself out there. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you know you're putting yourself out there and you're not feeling good about it, then you need to revisit it. You need to think to yourself, you know what? I'm not feeling good about this. I just can't do this. There's nothing wrong with knowing who you are and you're in tune to who you are. And you're okay with saying, you know what? I'm checked out of that. I can't do that. It's okay. Tap into who you are and make sure whatever you're doing it and you're doing it and you're happy about doing it. Because just like I say, if you have no confidence in doing something new and you do it, just imagine what it looks like to the other person. You're timid, you're nervous, you're fearful. I often tell people, think about it when it was your first time. Just think about it when it was your first time. It was a hot mess. Because you probably was afraid, they probably was afraid. I know when I think back and look back on my, first sex session, it was a hot mess. Because I wasn't confident in it. I was charting new waters. So you have to allow yourself to say, you know what? I'm confident in knowing enough that I don't know enough of what I'm going to do, but I'm going to try. Because if you just lay that piece of it out and co-check yourself in your mind with that allows you to build a little confidence up enough to make sure you don't look like a fool in the end. Because then your spouse may come back and say to you, nah, we're not playing. You the maid. Don't dress up. Don't put on high heels. Don't try to act like a stripper because you didn't do what you need to do. And then you mad because you're like, well, at least I tried. But if you're not going to give it 100% of what you're going to do to make your relationship and your marriage work, then don't do it. The other thing is, if your spouse asks you to do something or your partner asks you to do something and you're not comfortable at that time, be wholeheartedly honest and say, you know what? I'm not ready right now. I'm just not. I'm not ready at any point to, to do what you're asking me right now. But I promise you, give me a little bit. I'm willing to revisit it. It's nothing wrong with being honest. And your mate has to respect you and understand that you're not comfortable with doing it. They have to respect you for it. If they don't respect you, then you've made a decision at that point to do something that doesn't make you happy. And if they don't accept that, then something's not right. You need to have that conversation and say, I'm not saying to you I'm not willing to do it. But what I am saying to you is, I'm saying to you that I'm not ready right now. So nothing's wrong with that at all. So I have a question here. And it's from Mia. And she says, the bedroom is supposed to be undefilable. And when we are married, a lady in the street and a freak in the bed. I can't wait. And I agree with you. I agree with you. But what I will tell you, Mia, is there's a lot of women and men that are married today that still want charter the waters of looking at it of thinking that the bed is undefilable. It's in the Bible. You're trying to create a sex session that's going to be great and fire for you and your spouse. So there's a lot of women that, are afraid. And so when I speak and I'm talking, I'm just not talking to new people into relationships. I'm talking to people that are in marriages that allow their marriages to be stuck and stagnant simply because they won't take the opportunity or they won't take the time to invest into their marriage. They won't take the time to deposit, things into their marriage that's going to make their marriage grow. Sex is important. Don't ever let anybody, I don't care who it is. People say, we connected, we connect, sex is important, baby. You have to make sure you do everything you can. Your sex session may be different than my sex session. Your flavor of sex may be different than my flavor of sex. But it's important to make sure the two of you are on the same page. The two of you are willing to do some things that's going to make you happy. Mia, for you, I can't wait for you for 2018, baby, for you to make sure you have that Mr. Right, because 2018 will bring great things. Allow yourself to be free and open. Allow yourself to be free and open to change. Change is great. Change holds people back when it comes to marriages. Change holds people back when it comes to relationship. Change holds people back when it comes to a job. I did already. So I'm going to say, truly give yourself some space to, it's the first day of the new year. Take some time to get you a journal. Write down, what are some things I need to do better in 2018? What are some things I have struggled with in 2018? I'm 2017. What are some of those things that I've truly, can do better with? One of the things I'm going to say is, and I said this in our first session as well, in the relationship session, your strengths are your strengths for a reason, because that's something that you've conquered. Now you want to make sure you find out where you're weak at, because weakness allows growth. I don't ever want to work on a strength that I know I've already mastered that. I now want to work on something that I can do better at, something that I can be better at. I always want to work on it. People focus a lot on, doing better at, their jobs, getting degrees, study and doing all that. That's great. But that's one part of your life. Don't allow your daily life duties to allow you to put your marriage or your relationship to the wayside. Think of some things that, I didn't do this in 2018 because I was fearful. I didn't do this in 2017 because I was fearful. If you haven't done some of those things and you're fearful of doing it, take some time to either connect with a person who's married or connect with a person that's in a relationship. I always tell people, if you're married, you want to connect with the person that's married because you guys are on the same wavelength. You guys can have that conversation. If you're in a relationship, connect with somebody that you can trust that's in a relationship and ask some of those questions. Well, you know what, girl? I just have a question. Don't think I'm crazy, but I'm just going to throw this out here, girl. I, was fearful in 2017 because I didn't want to give no head. I hear people talk about bobblehead, but I didn't want bobblehead. So can you tell me, you don't got to tell me all the stuff, but can you tell me how you felt, or, how did you get yourself up to start to, give, oral sex? Or how did you get to start, to, doing oral sex? Ask that question, because some things that people go through and can tell you that they've went through makes it easy for you. And so don't ever be afraid to have that conversation with somebody. Don't ever be afraid to do that, because fear will lock you in a situation and lock you in a box that you can't get yourself out of. And so it's always important to, have a friend. I hear a lot of people say this a lot. My spouse or my significant other is my best friend. I, tell them everything. Okay, that's great. That's awesome for you to do. But you still need to have a friend and a female. You still need to have a friend and a male. It's important. Don't let yourself think that it's okay for your husband or your spouse to be the only person that's your best friend. No. You need to have somebody outside of that space that that you built a relationship, that you built a friendship with, where you can have that one-on-one conversation. Have, your girlfriend that you can go to and have a conversation with them. Men, have your dude that you could, go to and have a conversation. But don't ever, I hear people say this often, it's okay for your spouse to be your best friend. I agree with you. It's okay for him to be your best friend, but don't let him be your only best friend. Because when you're having struggles, when you're having a conversation that you want to, have with them, you can't have with them because you consider them as your best friend and there's nobody else out there that you're letting in. Sometimes when you're having an issue with your spouse, it's always good to talk it out with a friend, because sometimes the approach will kill a vibe right away. So if you're having a situation with your spouse and you mad about it, your best friend can calm you down and say, hey, let's do it this way. Let's have a conversation this way. Simply because if you go into it with an angry tone, if you go into it with the lashing from your tongue, you get nowhere. Anybody that's been in a marriage I'm going to say your first 5 years will be a struggle. I don't care who you are. If you can fight through those first 5 years, you're going to learn some things. You're going to grow from your marriage. You're going to grow from it. You're going to see some growth that you didn't expect to see. But you have to be in it mentally and willing to fight, to push forward for your relationship. And anybody that you talk to that's been in a marriage or relationship past 5 years, I can almost guarantee you, if you have a conversation with them, there's always somebody outside of them that they can have a conversation with and say, hey, here's the struggle. Am I seeing this wrong? Maybe, I could do a little better. What you think? But I was going to tell it to them this way. Lay it out there. I can almost tell you they're going to give you some positive feedback. They're going to give you some feedback or critical feedback that's going to work best for you. Because a lot of times we let our ego, we let who we are get the best of us. And we're like, I'm just going to tell him what I got to tell him. Don't be no fool and let somebody tell you, you know what, my spouse and my partner is my best friend. I don't need nobody else. Yes, you do. You should always have another audience, and what that other audience would be is a girlfriend, somebody, or more than one girlfriend that you can have a conversation with, that you can trust. But make sure your girlfriend is somebody that may be on the same wavelength with you and understand where you're coming from and understand your situation. Don't just pick up any old John Doe girlfriend like, girl, let me just tell you what happened. Because they don't know your situation. They don't know your fight. They don't know your struggle. So the information that they may give you doesn't help you. It just creates to the situation to make it worse. So with that being said, you guys, I have to say, I truly appreciate you guys from tuning in. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to go to my YouTube and, subscribe to my YouTube, Ask Auntie Nella. I will see you guys next Monday at 8 p.m. Send me, anything. You can inbox me if there's some topics we want to talk about on After Dark, or if we want to talk about relationships and marriages. Send it my way. I appreciate you guys. I'm wishing you guys nothing but success in 2018. I know God has great things out there for us. And so with that being said, let's make 2018 the best year you can have with your spouse or your partner. With that being said, peace out, have a good night, and don't forget to make sure you let your freaky side shine bright in 2018. Bye.